Hey guys, my name is Darian Rex. Today I'll be presenting on Eric Rudolph and his 5-year reign of terror on the United States. So first, a brief background. I, like you guys, or like many of you guys, first learned about Eric Rudolph in this class as a Christian fundamentalist and terrorist, best known for his Centennial Olympic Park bombing in Atlanta, Georgia, which is where we'll start our discussion today. This took place in 1996, and then over the next 2 years, he placed two more bombs in Georgia and one in Birmingham, Alabama. Two of those were against abortion clinics, one against an LGBT nightclub, and then which led to him being on the FBI's 10 most wanted list, and eventually him pleading guilty and writing an 11-page statement, which I'll be reading from today. Some of the central themes and characteristics of Rudolph are he had an idealized past to the Revolutionary War. He states that the U.S. overstepped its moral bounds and forfeited its right to rule when it legalized abortion, just as this took place in July 1776 when our forefathers decided the British Crown had done the same and lost their moral right to rule. He is also taking defensive action against abortionists. He states because abortion is murder, he believes that force is a justified attempt to stop it, and he believes that innocent lives are being taken every day, so he is justified in trying to protect innocent lives. He also has a call to action and uses a reference to a central text. He states how many decades have to pass and how many more million have to die before someone does something about it. He references Matthew 23:28, calling out those on the sidelines, those pro-lifers not taking any violent actions, saying you appear righteous unto men, but inside you are full of hypocrisy and inequity. And of course, fundamentalism does not exist without conflict. He sees this as a battle, as a war, and as a massive conflict. He compares the security guard to the abortion clinics as on the front lines of the fight, as if they are soldiers strictly opposing him, and they're in the trenches at war with each other. He is also strictly opposed to the threat of global secularization and globalization. In regards to the Olympics, he states that the Olympic movement is to promote the values of global socialism, which he vehemently opposes and therefore took action against. In the similarities between other instances, in 9/11, there was also defensive action being taken place. This time it was mainly against secularism, but nonetheless defensive action in reference to a central text, which was the Quran in that instance. And then there's Osama bin Laden's fatwa, which was a call to action to kill Americans, again referencing a central text like Rudolph does. Timothy McVeigh also is using defensive action, but in this case, he is using it preemptively to stop the marginalization of white men in the future, as described by the Turner Diaries. And then in the Army of God, of course, is a terrorist organization that plots terrorist attacks all throughout the country on abortion clinics. They actually ended up taking responsibility for many of Rudolph's attacks. So, of course, there are striking similarities between these two entities. Some of the differences are very interesting, in my opinion, as Rudolph does see more of a mosaic, or he may see more of a mosaic in the Bible, as opposed to other terrorists. As he states, he would be willing to forgive abortionists if abortion were to become illegal, because he feels that they should have the opportunity to be shown on a different path, which is not very common, especially in a terrorist and fundamentalist eyes. And then he also does offer an apology to the families who he hurt with his bombings, and especially in the Olympic bombing, as he didn't mean to hurt anybody. He was actually he actually made calls to police to clear out the areas as it was meant to shut the power grid down and embarrass the United States for their policy on abortion. Terms for the outlook for the future, of course, there was the recent overturn of Roe v. Wade, and this was a massive shift in the political landscape. This, of course, puts women's health at risk and leads them to possibly needing to buy abortion pills online and putting them at criminal risk. And then in terms of the future of fundamentalists and abortion-fueled violence, or I should say that should be worded better, but fundamentalist and abortion or anti-abortion fundamentalist violence. We'll see with this upcoming election and this new decision, but I suspect that the new overturn of Roe v. Wade will decrease the amount of anti-abortion fueled violence. But with this new election and the new election result coming up, there could be an increase in violence and insurrection as well, as we have seen. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.